Earlier this offseason, the Detroit Lions made a huge move going out and getting the most valuable defensive player from the Canadian Football League in Matthew Betts. But according to Dan Campbell, there is much more than meets the eye when it comes to this player, and Lions fans should be absolutely loving this amazing news. Stay tuned, everybody. We're about to have some fun.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lion.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, all Lions fans, and welcome on back yet again to another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So, again, going to get straight into it. We're going to be going hot and heavy. We are going just right into it, not going to waste any time. Dan Campbell had a press conference today to kind of, mark the kickoff of mandatory minicamp. During that presser, media session, Dan Campbell was asked about Matthew Betts. He was asked about if there had been anything about, the offseason, the spring training, and all that stuff that had really stood out to him as far as observing Matthew Betts. Pretty much what Dan Campbell said is that, listen, he looked at the player, he sees a very high motor, high work ethic guy. He sees a guy that is very, very good at what he does as far as a pass rusher. But what Dan Campbell also said is that he believes that there is more versatility to this guy than what even he thought was possible with this player when they first brought him in. Because according to Dan Campbell, he says, listen, we already know that this guy has the ability to rush the passer. And I mean, for crying out loud, when the guy has 18 plus sacks in the Canadian Football League last year, that right there ought to tell you something. The guy knows how to get after the quarterback. And when you win the Canadian Football League's Defensive Best Player of the Year award for that year, again, the guy knows how to play defense. But according to Dan Campbell, this guy has also shown that he has the ability to play a Sam linebacker, not just an edge rusher, not just a defensive end. He can play in coverage. He has shown that, according to Dan Campbell, he has very fast feet, he has the ability to move, and he has very fluid hips. This right here, again, ought to excite Lions fans. This is amazing news. Why? Because the name of the game in the NFL is versatility. The ability to play more positions, the ability to give yourself more opportunities on the field, whether it's offense or defense, not only lends you the ability to play more, but it gives a coach more chances to find ways to not only include you in the game plan, but it gives that coach more ways to use you against an opposing team. Think about it. Everybody knew when we got Matthew Betts, we were getting a pass rusher. But I guarantee you this, until Dan Campbell talked about it today, nobody was thinking about, Matthew Betts being a potential Sam linebacker. Nobody was thinking about him potentially being, a guy that would drop into coverage. Now, I know some people, just hearing this, they instantaneously are going to kind of get their stomachs a little, we don't want to go here. And that's because of James Houston. Because we heard this exact same thing last year from, the fact that, hey, James Houston, he went out, he had 8 sacks in 8 games. He looked really great. And then all of a sudden, Aaron Glenn said, hey, we're going to start using him more in a linebacker role. We want to start dropping him into coverage. We want to expand his role. And everybody's going to be like, man, do we really want to do that with Matthew Betts? Let's understand something here. James Houston, when we did that, had only 1 year of any professional football experience. He was still very green around the collar. He still was very raw as a player. Because again, he was in Florida in college, I think, for a year or two, and then he went to a historical black college when he went to Jackson State, and he played under Dion. He played under Coach Sanders. So realistically, not as much experience as compared to Matthew Betts. Matthew Betts was a practice squad player for the Chicago Bears. Then he went to the BC Lions in the Canadian Football League and played there for a couple of years. Matthew Betts has a lot more professional experience in being able to play at that level than what James Houston has. So if Dan Campbell, no BS, shoots straight from the hip, tells it like it is. If Dan Campbell is saying, listen, I'm looking at this guy. I see this guy having a lot more versatility. I see this guy being able to not only be an edge rusher or a pass rusher, but I'm seeing this guy being able to be a Sam linebacker. This is a guy that can drop into coverage a little bit. This is a guy that can provide the ability to play multiple positions, wear multiple hats on a defense. And it's like, listen, if that's what Dan Campbell sees, I believe it. I trust it 100%. And again, looking at what Matthew Betts has in terms of experience versus what James Houston had coming out of college in, his first rookie year, I believe that Matthew Betts is much more better situated and better able to handle adding on a little bit more responsibility. But just think about this, folks. Everybody has been crying bloody ass murder. Sorry for the language, but they've been crying bloody murder about how Brad Holmes really didn't go out and get anybody to play opposite of freaking Aiden Hutchinson as an edge rusher, because literally this offseason, the Lions really only made 2 moves at the edge rushing department to bring in people. That was Matthew Betts and that was Marcus Davenport. Now, we really haven't heard a whole lot about Marcus Davenport, and again, this is kind of like a make or break year for Marcus Davenport because of his injuries, but I don't care about Marcus Davenport. I care about Matthew Betts. I've talked about Matthew Betts before. I take a look at this guy, and I see a Cameron Wake, replay all over again. Because Cameron Wake, he played for the BC Lions. He won the Defensive Player of the Year award for that league 2 years in a row. Led the league 2 years in a row with sacks. Just like what, Matthew Betts did for the 1 year that he did it. I'm seeing the ability of Matthew Betts having that chance, having that ability to be a Cameron Wake kind of player for the Detroit Lions. And Cameron Wake, over the 10 or 11 years he played in the league, most of it with the Dolphins, he was a dominant pass rusher, even though he got into the game late. If you can get Matthew Betts to even play at 75% of what Cameron Wake did, and you put him opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, oh, Dude, you got a fearsome twosome. You got an absolute just monster that quarterbacks are going to absolutely hate playing against. And I talked about it in a previous episode. I'll put the link to that one back up at the top. But my whole point is this. If you have Matthew Betts who can provide pressure to the quarterback off the edge, and then you can kind of drop him into coverage, kind of like what we've seen Aiden Hutchinson do, because again, Aiden Hutchinson has shown that he can play coverage a little bit. He's shown that he has the ability to have soft hands and make interceptions. I mean, crying out loud, his rookie year, he had more interceptions than Sauce Gardner. Think about that one for a minute. If you have the ability of Aiden Hutchinson and Matthew Betts to both come off the edge and drop into coverage and provide a little bit of extra coverage, that right there, again, is another advantage that your defense can provide against opposing offenses. And it ought to make Lions fans excited. It's amazing news. It's wonderful news because, again, it's more versatility. It's more opportunity. It's more ways that this defense can really expand the boundaries, push the limits of what we've seen in the past. And again, what's the biggest thing that Lions fans want to see out of this defense this year going into 2024 in that run, that push for a Super Bowl? A competent pass defense, not just a pass rush. We've seen that Aiden Hutchinson can provide pressure. We've seen that Aiden Hutchinson can get after the quarterback. We already know that Matthew Betts can do that from the Canadian Football League. But if you think about it, Matthew Betts and Aiden Hutchinson, they can come off the edge, but then you provide more coverage to add to the cornerbacks that we've already know are going to be extremely competitive this minicamp and training camp. You add all of that together, dude, you have got yourself the makings of a defense that is damn scary. You've got a defense that you don't know where the hell pressure, where the hell the main weapon is coming from. Because you have multiple areas that you can pull it from. You can pull it from the secondary on a cornerback blitz. You can do it from the safety room as far as a safety blitz. You can bring it off the edge with the edge rushers, the linebackers. We've seen Alex Anzalone. We've seen Jack Campbell do it. You can bring it up the middle with DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, Broderick Martin. Dude, you've got a defense that now, and I say this, and I'm not trying to make this about Aaron Glenn, but I'm just going to say this right now. Please, dear Lord, let Aaron Glenn use this defense to the max ability. Amen. I'm just saying this. If Aaron Glenn uses every piece of weaponry that Brad Holmes has given him through the draft and through free agency, this defense can really, really do some freaking damage. And when you think about what Matthew Betts can provide opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, what everything working together can do, oh man, it is an enticing offer. It is an exciting, exciting time to be a Lions fan. I'm just as excited to see what the defense can do in training camp, in preseason, and the regular season as I am the offense. I already know what the offense can do. I know what Jared Goff, I know what Jahmyr Gibbs, I know what J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, and the rest of them can do. I know what Sam Laporta can do. That's going to be exciting enough. But now that we have all these new pieces that are working together, Betts, Davenport, Davis, Arnold, Rakestraw, and all the rest of them, they're all working together. Oh, this defense is set to be fun. And I'm telling you this right now. When you take a look at the versatility that not only Betts is showing, but the rest of this defense is showing, man, it is so fun. It's amazing news. It's an amazing time to be a Lions fan. But having said that, I think I'm going to end the episode here because I'm clearly just bound with excitement, and I want to make sure I have the ability to end this episode before I just go on a long further rant. But having said that, I just want to say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all please to do one of these three things: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and not had a chance to do so, again, highly encourage y'all to subscribe. But I also encourage y'all, please make sure you hit that bell notification icon button that is alongside the subscribe button as well. Again, the more that we can get you guys to come back to the channel and watch stuff, that helps me out so much, and I'm ever so thankful. But I also would encourage y'all, please share the content. Please share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can. The more we can share it, the more the channel grows and spreads, and the more we can bring people in to watch the content, to have great conversations, not only about football, but the Lions in general. And having said that, I just want to say I hope you all enjoyed the content. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all got something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. And with that being said, God bless, and until the next time we meet, I'll see y'all in the next episode.